Captain Forest here, back with another Death Battle prediction video. In this video, I'm going to be giving my predictions on who I think wins more often than not in a Death Battle situation. Rwby versus Maka. I've actually been looking very forward to this matchup. I was literally waiting for years, hoping and praying that Death Battle would actually cover this matchup. And I'm very happy to say that they are, because I'm pretty well versed with Rwby, a little bit with Soul Eater. This is where Frisk comes in, so shout outs to Frisk. Me and him had a little quick discussion over some of Maka's feats and where she scales to. So shouts to my friend Frisk. Also, I'll try and leave as many calcs as possible in the description, and I'll also leave a link to the video I made on Rwby many years ago, so the information is still valid up to this day. But anyway, the calcs in question are very obtainable. Just go on Versus Wiki, or of course Character Stats and Profiles, because they should have some calcs there too. And I also have some third-party calcs as well, so I'll leave them in the description as well. But anyway, I'm going to talk about Rwby real quick. So Rwby scaling easily anywhere from like small town level or to small city. And if you really want to go higher on the Richter scale of AP, you can argue some large island level stuff, but it's really high end. But anyway, the scaling chain goes like this. So like you have Rwby being able to push back, like physically strike the mech itself, so Cordovin's mech. The mech in question is able to generate enough kinetic energy equivalent to a small town level, force of AP. So I believe it's 1.56 kilotons of TNT. I'll put that in the description. Hopefully I don't forget. But anyway, that's like rudimentary scaling for Rwby. And then there's the small city level stuff. This is more of the consistent range. So of course, this comes from the ace operatives, who is literally able to physically damage and hurt and push back. Of course, Penny herself has enough, AP, kinetic energy force to generate in order to push Amnity's ship into orbit. And this was calced around the small city level ranges of AP. So I'll leave that in the description. So those ranges, I personally comfortably have Rwby scaling to. Now the higher end stuff comes from Ozpin and the Monstra feat as well. So I'll talk about that right now for you. Now for the large island level stuff, that pretty much comes from Ozpin and the energy that he's able to output that was stored in his cane, I believe, or his staff, or wherever he stored it. But essentially, he was able to blow up the Monstra, and Cinder herself can literally destroy this barrier. And this is impressive because Team Rwby is literally able to fight Cinder and actually hurt Cinder, and contend with her pretty easily. So again, this equates to large island level scaling. So again, this is just high end stuff. But anyway, that's it for Rwby. Speed, again, there's some, lightning timer stuff. You can easily get it to massively, hypersonic. And there's some FTL scaling as well. So there's some stuff that I went over in that video that I made. So, easy close to 2 times the speed of light. So things like that. But anyway, Rwby has a plethora of dust that she uses. So her scythe is essentially a shotgun in a sense. It's kind of like a shotgun. It's like a built-in type of rifle, I should say, because she can put dust in it. Dust is elemental, and it does different types of elemental damage when it hits the target. Now, Rwby mainly shines, her main ability, that's pretty much the star of the show, is her semblance. So she's able to literally, it's like rose petals. It allows her to kind of speed blitz people, move around objects. So her whole body breaks down into this literal rose petals, and she's able to maneuver around people, which is pretty impressive. And also kind of get to places faster as well. So again, Semblance in Rwby can also be used as a form of defense, but there are downsides to semblances because it's kind of like, it follows the same laws as like chakra in Naruto, because with chakra reserves run out, you're screwed. You can't really perform, ninjutsu because it requires chakra. Kind of the same little concept with semblances. Like over time, your semblance, builds back up when you've used it. But if your semblance breaks, or if you use too much of your semblance, then you're kind of screwed, because semblance is a very important aspect for like characters in that verse, because semblances can also like grant you accelerated healing factor, so you can like recover from small little injuries. You can use your semblance as a form of defense, so like you can block attacks, etc, etc. So just wanted to mention that. But anyway, that's pretty much it for Rwby. Now Maka, you can easily scale her to like Krona. Krona's literally able to like erect a massive blood barrier, a massive blood dome, which covered like the city of Ukraine. This feat was pretty much calced around mountain level. And of course, you can get country level stuff for Maka. Now, due to the Fire Force, of course, which is pretty much, they're like in the same universe, it's given us more context behind certain feats that transpired in Soul Eater. For example, the moon in Soul Eater has the same mass as the Earth, like as the real life Earth, and pretty much buffs certain feats. So as I mentioned with Corona, for example, like Corona literally being able to lift the mouth of the moon, and Black Star himself is able to toss the moon's tooth. So like the first feat that Corona did, that would be around like large country level plus, and Black Star easily like ranging to country level, so like 34.12 tons, or teratons I should say. So right there and there, Maka has higher AP if we're using finite stuff. I heard some crazy stuff apparently for Maka. There's like some universal low multi stuff. I'm not 100% sure on that meta, but even if we don't use that stuff, just going off finite feats, that's pretty insane for Maka. Like, this scaling is just ridiculous. So right there and there, AP, Maka would take that. Speed, you can pretty much scale her to Black Star, who's able to literally grab lasers with his bare hands and react to them. And that calc was done around like 3 times or 4 times the speed of light. So they're both pretty relative, or a little bit like leaning advantage-wise in speed to Maka, but I don't really see like it being a speed blitz per se. So again, when it comes to like Maka's ability, she has like of course her scythe. She has many techniques: soul hacks, soul manipulation, genie hunter, many other techniques you can use with her scythe. Now, personally, how I see this fight going, I give it more often to Maka, just due to having higher AP. And of course, even if you make them relative in speed, I really think the AP edge is just too much for Rwby. She will get crushed with that scythe. And if we use certain arguments and certain hacks wise, when it comes to Maka and her soul manipulation and the scythe would literally rip apart like Rwby's semblance. It'd actually mess up her semblance, with all the stuff you can do with Maka's like scythe. So again, Rwby has nothing in regards to like soul resistance. You can't really protect her soul. So again, even if it came down to, something like more like above conventional means, if we're talking like on the supernatural scale, that scythe is going to pretty much be the game changer. Now, I just want to give a quick shout out to Death Battle. Their research, when it comes to like gathering calcs and scaling, they're pretty decent at it. And when we're looking at like, especially like a match like this, where it's kind of like street tier-ish, they're going to get some really good calcs for Maka. And I see them giving Maka the win more often than not. I love Rwby to bits, but I just don't see her winning this, just due to, again, lack of AP feats. Well, lack of great AP feats. Like, she doesn't have anything to punch to that grade. Even if we wank the ever-living shit out of Rwby, She's only hitting, large island level. And you've got characters who can casually do country level shit in Soul Eater. But anyway, that's my thoughts. That's my prediction. Let me hear your thoughts down in the comment section, folks. It's been real. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.